Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today in this video I would like to read an article entitled UNCLOS at 14 India and a rules-based order of the seas, strengthening Indian Ocean maritime security. The Earth's resources have always been a bone of contentions for competing forces. The oceans and the seas are no different, occupying 3/4 of the Earth's surface. The post-Second World War explorations and exploitations of the ocean's resources by nations across the world emerged as a major challenge that deserves special attention by mankind. This led to the call for an internationally accepted maritime law and order. On November 1, 1967, Ambassador Arvid Pardo of Malta articulated the need for an effective international regime over the seabed and the ocean floor beyond a clearly defined national jurisdictions in an address to the United Nations General Assembly, or UNGA. This evolved into the backdrop for the Third United Nations Conference of the Law of the Sea. 9-year-long journey. The Third United Nations Conference of the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS III, was convened in New York in 1973. Prior to this conference, the first United one held in 1958 and the Second United Nations Conference of the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS II, held in 1960. In UNCLOS I, or commonly referred to as the Geneva Conventions, 4 important conventions has been adopted. There were 1958 conventions of the territorial sea and the contiguous zone, the 1958 Conventions on High Seas Act, the 1958 Living Resource Conventions on Fishing and Conservation of the Living Resources of the High Seas, and the 1958 Conventions on the Continental Shelf. Negotiations under the UNCLOS III continued for 9 years. The President of the Third United Nations Conference of the Law of the Sea, Tommy T.B. Singapore called the framework as a constitution for the oceans. On December 17, 1970, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Resolution 2749 during the 1930 plenary meeting. The resolution provided inter alia the area of the seabed and ocean floor and the suboil thereof beyond the limits of national jurisdiction, as well as its resources, are the common heritage of mankind. The explorations and benefits the exploration and exploitations of which shall be carried out for the benefit of mankind as a whole, irrespective the geographical locations of state. UNCLOS III Explore. The convention was opened for signing on December 10, 1982. It took 12 years for the conventions to enter into force. The convention was instrumental in establishing the commissions on the limit of the continental shelf, the International Seabed Authority, and the International Tribunal for role in regulating the resources of the oceans and seas. The conventions is an overarching framework, and some of its important features are territorial sea limits, navigational right, economic jurisdiction, the passage of ship, legal status of resources, of the conservation and management of marine resources, protections of the marine biodiversity, and the freedom to conduct scientific research. Importantly, the conventions also feature a procedure for maritime dispute settlement between states. The divisions for ocean affairs and the law of the sea, or UNCLOS, of the UN Conventions of Legal Affairs is the secretariat of the convention. The office coordinates all aspects of maritime affairs and supports states with information, advice, and assistance to better understand the convention. India and UNCLOS. India ratified the UNCLOS Treaty on June 2009, 1995. India views the convention as the establishment of international rule-based maritime order. Further, India's ratifications of the convention provide it with rights, treaties, and jurisdictions of the oceans affairs under the provisions of the conventions. India has consistently called for an equitable approach organized in order to realize its international peer-making. The National Economic Order. As a signatory to the conventions, India has acted as a responsible state upholding the principle of international law. In this regard, India has always respected the judgment of international courts. The Enrica Lexi incident, Italy versus India, and the Bay of Bengal maritime boundary arbitrations, Bangladesh versus India, are standing examples of India resolving the dispute through peaceful means, thereby reflecting India's commitment to a rule-based order. The conventions and management of the ocean resources is critical for the welfare of the people of India and also for the region. The Deep Ocean Mission launched by the government of India is focused on developing technologies to harness living and non-living resources from the deep ocean. The mission focuses on seabed bottoms, deep-sea mining, manned submersible underwater robotics, ocean climate change advisory services development, deep ocean survey and exploration, energy and freshwater from the ocean, advanced marine stations for ocean biology, and technological innovations for exploration and conservation of deep-sea biodiversity. So that's all the article. Bye bye and see you on my next video. Bye.